All right, before our final pitch, I want to introduce you to our fifth judge, who I did not introduce at the beginning. We have Marlon from Blue Impact Ventures. Marlon, can you give him a wave? Marlon came in clutch for me with that last question, so I really appreciate that, and I apologize, I missed you earlier. We have our last pitch for the Supply Chain Pitch Finals. Up next, last but not least, we have InStockRx, and our presenter is Matt Doherty. Take it away, Matt.
Thank you very much. My name is Matt Doherty. I am CEO and co-founder here at InStockRx. And I want to tell you about the problems that we're solving in the $500 billion pharmaceutical industry. So the fundamental problem that we're fixing is that product search is completely broken in pharma. So if you want to search for a wrench, you get a wrench. You want to search for a prescription drug, you get tequila, right? Now that's not the worst outcome in the world, but I can promise you if you search for prescription drugs, tequila is like the best case scenario that you're going to find when you do this search. So this is a problem for a number of different constituencies in the industry. It's a problem for patients, right? So when my daughter, who's now 6, was 4, she had an ear infection. I went to the pharmacy to fill out a script for amoxicillin. The pharmacy said, we're out. And I had vision of the faces my wife and daughter would, have for me if I went home with that story, right? And I'm sure you can imagine the same in your life. And I said to the pharmacy, okay, what's next? And they said, well, call around, because that's what we would do, right? Which is a totally crazy way to run a railroad in 2024, right? There's not just a problem for patients. It's a problem for physicians who don't know if they send a script, the pharmacy will have it. It's a problem for pharma, who have very little visibility into the supply chain downstream of them. And it's a problem for pharmacies. And it's pharmacies that I want to focus on first, because that's the first product that we're building out. Now, it may surprise you to know that pharmacies trade medication with each other all the time. In fact, we think last year they traded between $2 and $4 billion, just independent pharmacies on WhatsApp. Now, that's a fraction of what they should be trading. We believe that 1 in every $7 of inventory on pharmacy shelves gets thrown away and wasted every year. It's crazy. So the solution that we're building for pharmacies is a 3-part solution. First, we give them inventory analytics so that they can understand what they have in inventory and what's surplus. Then we take the surplus and we put it into the index for our search engine. And at that point, other pharmacies can find it and make offers to buy it. And now they can transact on our marketplace. And that search then also allows us to build the other products in our pipeline for patients and others. So why now? Why not keep trading on WhatsApp, right? There are a lot of reasons, but let me pull out 2. First, in just a couple of weeks, the FDA-mandated Drug Supply Chain Security Act requires that pharmacies track and trace medications that are moving through the supply chain. You might think this should have always been the case, but no, it's happening on November 27th. Through our partnership with GS1, we have created and implemented, rather, the track and trace standards that they need in order to accomplish that. Not something you're going to get on WhatsApp or via fax or phone, as they're doing today. The other issue is that pharmacy margins are under pressure. You may have seen in the news, pharmacies have been closing, right? Pharmacy's 2 biggest costs are headcount, which they can't do that much about, and inventory. So when we come and deliver them a solution where they can turn problem inventory into cash flow, they pay attention. The opportunity is tremendous. And it only gets bigger for us in terms of the value that we can capture as we index more and more pharmacies into our search engine. So we're starting with the independent pharmacies, which we know well, but we've already started to move up market into some of the mid-market chains, and I can promise you that CVS and Walgreens throw out shopping carts full of medication every day. They have exactly the same problems that the independents do that we can solve. So this marketplace exists today. I'll tell you more in just a little bit about the traction of folks that are using it, but through our partnership with Microsoft and the wonderful Microsoft for Startups platform, we've been able to build this platform out, and we have pharmacies using it every day. Before the end of the year, we intend also to launch our patient-facing search engine. So how do we make money, right? We pull inventory from the pharmacies into our platform, which builds out the index for our search engine. That auto-populates our marketplace so that other pharmacies can find that medication and transact. We take a 10% fee on those transactions. Some of our pharmacies also choose to upgrade to a more advanced analytics solution for which we charge a fee. And there's also ample opportunities to build search ad and search fee revenue on top of this platform. This slide is already a little bit out of date, but we've got close to 200 pharmacies on the platform. And our growth strategy is really very exciting. You can think of us as kind of a Russian nesting doll. We've got our big marketplace at the top, but one level underneath that, we have what we call groups. So some of our pharmacies invite their buddies to form a group, they trade within that group. Some of our channel partners have groups. And through the viral effects of these groups, we've been able to see fantastic growth with minimal sales and marketing spend today. We are already, I should mention, the largest, by far, the largest prescription drug search engine out there with 65,000 meds on the platform. In terms of our team, we've got a deep team. We've got team members that have owned, operated, sold to pharmacies, founded technology companies that understand how to grow the kind of company that we're building. I'm out of time, but let me just close by saying we're raising a pre-seed round. And on a personal note, I've been incredibly fortunate in my career. I was trained at Harvard and Dartmouth. I've spent the last 20 plus years founding, building, and investing in startups. I started my first SaaS company in 2002. So long ago we didn't have the term SaaS to describe it. And I can tell you, based on that experience, the opportunity to build a core piece of infrastructure for a $500 billion industry does not come along that often. And I want to invite you to help us build the solution to that problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. One last time, we have time for questions from our judges. So judges, let's kick it off.
Good morning. Thanks much for the presentation. Based on the work that you've done so far, whether it's a pilot, a concept, whatever you may want to call it, what have been the success markers that you've seen? You know, which levers have you moved in the positive direction?
Yeah, so typically so we have 200 pharmacies actively using the platform today and transacting. Not in a pilot sense, but actively using it. So a pharmacy today typically throws out $1 out of every $7 in inventory. And when I say that, they return it, they might get 5 to 15 cents on the dollar. We offer them the opportunity to take that problem inventory and turn it into cash flow at something like 75 cents on the dollar when they sell it to another pharmacy. That's a huge win for pharmacies whose cash flow are under pressure. And on the buy side, pharmacies are a taker on price, right? The PBMs, the insurers tell them what their reimbursement's going to be. So the only way you can become more profitable as a pharmacy is to reduce your acquisition cost. And through us, they can.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Hey, Matt, I noticed that you said viral effect. Nice little plan words there. Anyone else notice that? Well, my question is actually around just the trends that are happening in healthcare. You know, obviously, I can think through your solution, thinking through the traditional model of going to a physician, getting a prescription, going to a pharmacy, right? Telehealth, consumerization of healthcare, are those tailwinds, headwinds? How are you looking at those emerging trends?
So I think at the highest level, pharmacy is an industry that has been fat and happy for a long time. And those salad days are over. So one of the reasons that this is an opportunity now is that if you and I had gone to a pharmacy 10 years ago and we had presented them with this solution, the pharmacy owner would have said, "You're 100% right, my inventory is hilariously out of control. You know what else is out of control? The slice on my drive. And like, my golf game is the problem I'm gonna work on this weekend, like not my inventory, because I make 40% margins not having to think about it." Right? That was 10 years ago. That's not the world they live in today, and that's why they're receptive to what we have to offer.
So I have a two-part question. So the first thing you talked about was the search engine, and that's your second part of your solution. So is this search engine standalone? Is it just for pharmacists to get connected? What is that? So that's one.
Yep.
Second is you also talked about regulations, the ones that are going into effect, and your product is going to help with traceability.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about those two, please?
Yeah, let me take it in reverse order. So the FDA has mandated new track and trace regulations, which probably should have been in place for decades, but they're coming in like 2 weeks. And GS1 has been driving the standards around this. So if you're a wholesaler, you need to provide this metadata that shows track and trace all the way back to the manufacturer. And the wholesalers adopt GS1 standards to do it. We have become a GS1 solution partner, and we provide exactly the same kinds of metadata for the transactions that happen on our platform, which can then be linked with transactions further up the supply chain to trace all the way back to the manufacturer. So that's important both for FDA regs, and also when the insurers come and audit the pharmacy, that's the data they're looking for too, so there's no clawbacks with reimbursements. On the first point, the relationship between the search engine and our products, I would say our core technology is our search engine, on top of which we are building 4 different products. The first of which is pharmacy to pharmacy marketplace, because it's the pharmacies that have the data we need for our search index, so we need to provide them value first and foremost, and that's a huge opportunity. But downstream of that is patient-facing search engine, which may well be delivered primarily as B2C through APIs, but also one for physicians and one for pharma.
Thanks, Mike. Quick question. What's the conversion rate for pharmacies and how fast can you get it on board?
Thank you for asking that question. So in February, when we launched the platform, I would say our conversion rate was in the range of 60%, and it took us 3 weeks to onboard a pharmacist on the platform. Today, I would say our conversion rate is 95%, and it takes us 20 minutes. So we have spent a tremendous amount of time and effort on exactly this point. And the reason is it's not just because it's important for all businesses. You have to understand, pharmacists live their life, their professional lives, like 4 minutes at a time. And then there's an interruption. There's a call from a doc. Someone needs something, right? And we have to fit in that 4 minutes. I wouldn't say we're perfect at it yet, but we are like maniacally focused on that 4 minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Let's hear it one more time for InStockRx. And I want to invite the 5 pitchers to join us, and I leave. Olga, come on up. Julia, yes, you too. Get on up there. I can attest, it's not easy getting up on stage in front of a crowd of people, so I want you all to make a huge round of applause for One last time, I want you to all remember that there is a People's Choice Award. So the audience is in control of that, and you can vote for one of these phenomenal companies. So let's do one last round of applause for our panel. Thank you very much. Oh, one picture. Sue's got a picture.